On September 17, 1862, the quiet farmland around Sharpsburg, Maryland, was transformed into the bloodiest single-day battle in American military history. After less than a day of fighting along Antietam Creek, more than 22,000 men were killed, wounded, or missing by nightfall. Some estimates place total casualties at nearly 23,000. Every 25 years after the battle, the town held grand commemorations, with veterans returning to share stories and camaraderie until their ranks grew thin. One such veteran came by train, walking nearly a mile from the station to join the festivities. An elderly man, a teetotaler, who sought only a drink of water from the town's spring. But he never returned home and was never seen again. Or was he? His disappearance remains a mystery to this day. Among the echoes of musket fire and the silent rows of monuments, his wave, gentle, solitary, lingers in memory. This is his story, and the story of a town built on remembrance. Welcome to Haunted by Beauty.
Hi, I'm Susan, and welcome to Haunted by Beauty. I'm coming to you this week from an undisclosed location in Sharpsburg, Maryland, to talk with you about the Battle of Antietam, the single bloodiest day in American history. On September 17, 1862, the Union forces under George McClellan and the Confederate forces under Robert E. Lee clashed for less than 12 hours. One description noted, and I'm going to read this directly, that the men fought to exhaustion and mutual devastation, and it is said that they fought 90 feet apart. That's less than the length of 1/3 of a football field. The men were said to have been able to see the whites of each other's eyes. I came here yesterday to Sharpsburg and have been here overnight. I did a ghost tour here with Mr. Mark Berg, and I have a ghost book that he wrote with his wife Julia that I'm going to be referencing. But I really want to talk about, rather than just a story or reading from a script, the feeling in this town. It's just, I've been to Gettysburg many times, and you saw that in my last video. It's just a feeling of awe, and like, just, you can still feel like this undercurrent of like despair almost, not with the people, but just in the atmosphere. So I want to try to do it justice and tell you a story that I heard tonight in the walk. But I also do want to acknowledge again that this is another battle story. It is another war story. Provide all the trigger warnings I can, but also to share with you that these were real people, and this was a very sad time in our country's history, and I don't want to make light of that. Having said all of that, it's the day after Halloween, so all the Halloween festivities are over. It's now November, and I'm thinking more along the lines of Thanksgiving at this point. So I thought I'd go with sort of a cranberry look, and this is the look I decided to do. And if anyone can tell me who this model is down below in the comments, I cannot figure out who this is. I think I know who it is, but I'm not sure. But as you can see, she's got cranberry eyeshadow, very dark eyelids, and sort of a smoky cranberry lip. And I want to try to achieve this. Not anything exaggerated or haunted this go around, but I just really like the idea of just sort of doing like a cranberry look. So just again, I always start out with a milky toner, which I've already applied. The first thing I do after that is my eye primer. I did get this little like spatula thing that I could put my my makeup on, and it's actually like a little tray with a little spatula. So I'm going to go ahead and start to put that on. So you only need a little tiny bit of this. And you can kind of just sort of see it on the palette here. So again, I have just a tiny little bit of P. Louise on this little palette, and I'm going to go in with my concealer brush. I'll list the names below of all of my brushes and all the things I'm using, but you really don't want to just plop it right on. You want to just get your brush primed, as they call it. Make sure you get a lot in there. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. Slide my mirror over a little bit. I don't want you to be able to see the mirror, but go ahead and get this on my eyelids. So yes, I've been here since yesterday, and the feeling here is much like Gettysburg. It's palatable, but if you think about that battle, that was 3 days of vicious fighting spread out over a much larger area than the Battle of Antietam. This was very concentrated in a small area. I'll try to list here above like the radius of where this fighting took place. It took place at a bridge. It took place in cornfields. And again, it took place in a place called the Bloody Lane, where the Confederate defensive that was taking place there, it just basically became a trench of bodies. And you can find, it's very grisly, but you can find pictures of what it looked like. It was just men to the slaughter, really. So it's, I want my channel to be about ghost stories, but it is important to remember that all of these stories that I'm telling are about real people. I'm not like making anything up. Coming from it from a historical standpoint, just spreading out this primer. And I want to make sure to be respectful at the same time. So just keeping that in mind. I want to be lighthearted and joke around, and I'll try to do that as best as I can. But at the same time, be respectful. So now I set my eyes. I have my Huda Beauty Ube birthday cake in here, mixed with my L'Oreal Infallible Blurfaction. I've already mixed them. So I'm going to go ahead and set my eyelids. And then I have, I'll list my brush down below. I have 2 palettes from ColourPop that I thought were really pretty and would go with this look as well. So let me get this set. And then show you these 2 palettes. This is the first palette, Wine and Only by ColourPop, which has pretty cranberries and pinks and some pretty shimmers. And then I have Cloud Spun, which is more just pinks. And then I have this third palette for the darker colors, and this is Revolution Cinnamon. So this is a Revolution Cinnamon. And then this is going to have the darker colors I'm going to go in with for my my eyeliner, basically. So then the next step I do is I put my tape on to get that really sharp line where your powder hits, so you don't want fallout. Tape's stuck to the table, people. Here we go. Okay, so then the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start layering the color, but I want to try to start with like a lighter color, then go down to a lightest to darkest colors is basically your goal. And I've been laying it on a little thick in past videos, so I want to try to make sure I'm being as light-handed as I can. And grab my little pad here for wiping my brushes, my pad. And I'm going to go in with, again, starting with my smallest, tightest brush. I'm going to go in with this color right here and start to work into my arch. tapping off and working into that arch and just above it. This is a very dramatic look, but I found if I rush and I pack on too much dark oak color, it starts to look like I'm not blending it, and it's not a very cohesive look. So I'm going to do as gently and lightly as I can with this first color and start to build up my crease, and then take it down sort of like a J shape or like an L or a J shape. Start to curve it along the lash line. And I'll do that with a little bit more on this side. Again, start to make that J right at your lash line. My tape's up a little high, but that's okay. So let's go into the wine palette now. Wine and only. I am going to go in, I'm just going to start to go in with my darker colors. So this one right here. Tapping off. And I'm keeping this on the outer portion of the eyelid. Keeping that J shape, curving it around, gradually getting it darker. Let me just fix this tape a little bit. Just let me know down below in the comments, have you ever been to Sharpsburg? It's not that far from Harper's Ferry either. We went there for a little while. Also a beautiful yet extremely historical and significant town. So I'd be interested to know how many who are watching this have been to either of these locations. What were your thoughts? Did you feel the emotion still here in the towns? Because I can definitely feel it. And I do have my EMF detector that's blipping. But I also have this other one that's like really like super sensitive, and there's numbers on it and it's going off, but it hasn't changed colors here yet. So obviously I think this sets it off. But again, I'm at an undisclosed location, and I've been getting hits on this. So far I found 2 random pennies in very random places that I don't think were there previously. So that's another thing that's been happening. Those are the only 2 things that I've really noticed though. So I'm going to keep building up my look, and let me wipe off this brush. Go in yet a darker color, another tight brush, and I'll link down below what it is. Folks, my eyes are really bad, so I'm going to try to list everything when I can't read what it is. Tapping off, getting more of that arch in, and now I'm taking it up a little further. She's really got it on her whole, almost all the way up to her brow bone, but I don't have as much real estate on my brow, on my eyelids as she does, that reach up to her brow bone. So I have to really be mindful of the space I'm taking up with the shadow. Tapping off, doing another J motion, blending, taking it up higher. I know this model. I've looked her up. I'm going to show you again. I've tried to do like a reverse search. It's not Ashley Graham. It's somebody. This is not an AI generated picture. If anyone knows who this is, please tell me in the comments. Okay. So now I'm going to start to pull that dark down, leaving a space in the very middle and going from that J shape into more of like a U shape and leaving that bright space in the middle. So like that. She's got it completely darkened out. I'm going to see how far I can get with that with the next palette. And then she does have sparkle as well. And this is the palette again. Cinnamon. And now in here I'm going to take this very center pink. This one right here. See how it's looking on camera, how it's reading. And I am going to go ahead and just do the center now. Start to fill that in. So my story starts not with the battle itself, but with the commemorations that were done for the battle at certain intervals. So at 25-year intervals, the town of Sharpsburg has a remembrance for the veterans. And for a period of time, the veterans were coming back to the town for these occasions. On one occasion in, I believe, 1937, there were 5,000 soldiers left living from the Civil War, all told. And they sent out invitations for this commemoration, and whatever soldiers were left living and who could come to the event, most of them came here by train. I keep losing my mirror every video. I do have my ghost cup. Ghost cup makes an appearance. Let's see. So that's where we are. I'm gonna start to fluff this out. I have a fluffier brush. And I just want to do some blending. This is probably going to be really boring, so I'll fast forward it for you. Just want to make sure I'm doing a better job blending for y'all, because she's got a beautiful, beautiful blend on her look. Okay, I'm going to start going in and making it darker now. I think I'm going to do this dark color right here. Star Anise, I believe it's called. Taking it along the lash line. Darker still. Cardamom and sumac, which is a purple. Putting those two together. Now I'm taking that on an angle along my outer lash line and taking it upward. So as I was saying, veterans from all over the country would come in, primarily by train, and many of the men would, what they would call bivouac. They would camp together, even into their elderly age at these commencements or events for the anniversary of the battle. They would set up camp just like they had in during the war. And there was one gentleman that came in, and I guess he made friends with a group of other soldiers. And when they all finally got to town, they all got off of the train, and there were, I think at this event, there were over 50,000 people here, including the president. And it boggles my mind, but they didn't have transportation for these gentlemen to get from the train station to the celebration. And so many of them would walk. And the one gentleman was like 90 years old, who was walking along with this other group of soldiers, and they saw a pub, and the gentleman said, let's go to this pub. It's called Bender's Pub. And the one gentleman, due to his religious beliefs, did not partake in alcohol. He was a teetotaler. And so he waved off going to the pub with these other gentlemen. And I'm going to keep going with the look, and I'll keep telling the story. But right now, I'm pretty dark in terms of my shadow. The last color I'm going to go in with is charcoal, and that's going to obviously be the darkest color. I'm taking that in closer to the inner part of my iris. And don't forget that dot motion I've mentioned in past videos. That helps you really pack on the color. And I need to, it looks like I'm needing to do that here. I'm not getting what I want on this eye, because for some reason my one eye never cooperates. And I can see I'm getting a lot of fallout as well. So that's where we are so far. I'll try to blend it out without diluting it too much. No more hits on either. I have not gotten a hit at all on this one. This one, the table's a little wobbly, but I don't think it's that. I'm going to move it down here so I can pay better attention to it. I'm not all the way happy with this eyeshadow look yet, but let's go for it. Let's take the tape off. Okay, so we have our cut. Now what I usually do for my look, okay, I'm going to move this, it's in my way a little bit, is to now do my under eye concealer, then my foundation, go back in with my little palette, and I have my two trusty under eye concealers. This is Palladio Under Eye Bright, and this is Medium Nude, and this is Dossier, and this is Colored Clay. Eye corrector, just light. It's just light. That's my mic over here. I'm not near it over here. I've not called out too much here where I'm staying. This is a rental, but it is also a home, and I don't want to unduly like conjure anything, if that makes sense. So I haven't really been like calling out to anything, just more monitoring what's going on with that. And okay, concealer brush again. Now what I like to do in here is, obviously if you go into each of these palettes, you're going to start to muddy your colors. So I'm just going to take my lightest first which is this one. Get as much, like just pack that brush and then go into the darker, the Palladio. Get what I need and work it into my little palette, which is, of course, is made for right-handed people. And I'm lefty, but you can just, it's fine. Make sure you're really priming your brush. It's okay if you get a little bit of that eye primer too. I'm going to go ahead and get it in here. You do have a little bit of fallout. This is a very bright under eye. I think I took a little bit too much of the bright. That's okay. That's okay. Take it from here and do the other side. Yeah, I want to try to do different looks for you all, not just the same thing over and over. So I'm going to try to do themes. Since we're out of Halloween season, I'm not necessarily going to always be doing like a spooky look, but I'll try to be bringing you spooky stories still. But I thought cranberry would be cute. I like that because, you know, we're in November and Thanksgiving is coming. So we'll see what I come up with next. Maybe like mushroom or something like that. So then I'm going to go in with my foundation. I've got this, everybody on TikTok had it, the Tier. If I can get it. Yep. With this little tiny puff. Little puff. Love it. Do I get the coverage that I like from this? It's okay. But what you want to do is buff it in. And really try to make sure you're blending it into your under eye concealer, making it one cohesive color. Patting. So there we are so far. I really like this little cute compact. So cute. I think it's starting to dry out. But I did go to what they call the Bloody Lane today. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a curving path off of a road on the battlefield. It just looks like a trench. It's like a winding trench. And the fact that there were men that at first were using that sort of as their cover, and then it just became basically their temporary grave, was very sobering. I did get hits with my EMF detector there, but not a lot. But you can feel it. It's palatable here. It's again, like Gettysburg, it's beautiful here. Gosh, the people are really friendly. I would recommend a visit here. The fall is beautiful, so I would recommend during the fall. Let me just keep going. I'm going to set now. Set my face with my powder. Going in with my Spa Sister brush, my dual-sided brush. Rocking that off. And then what you want to do is whatever's left on it, you want to pack. Again, you want to make sure you're packing your brush, getting rid of any excess and saturating your brush. Packing. Okay, so there's that. Face all set. Let me keep going with the story. Our gentleman, where we last left him, our elderly Confederate gentleman, he was seen at the event and had arrived in a black suit with a white shirt, a black tie, a black hat, and he had long white hair and a long white beard. And the next day, the men who were going to bivouac with him, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that word right, noticed he hadn't been at the commemoration, noticed that he hadn't camped out with them. But that's really the most that they thought about it. They didn't really know him too well. I don't even know that they knew his name enough to be able to go around the town and ask about his whereabouts. This one has numbers on it as well. I'm not as well versed on this one. This one also, when it gets to a certain color, it beeps. And hasn't beeped yet. This one keeps pinging. I'll show you when it does. Get another drink. I know you're all tired of my cup. I hope not. I hope you're not tired of it. So, okay, so now my face is set. Now I'm going to do my under eyes. She does have her eyes facing down, so I can only assume she's got sort of a dark look underneath. I kind of like the way this is looking, without too much dark underneath. I think the past few looks have been going pretty dark under my eyes, and it made me kind of look drawn down. And that makes sense because any dark colors, the lower you go with dark colors, the more it pulls your face down. So you want to keep it light and then dark as you go up. So I'm going to go in, I think, with, again, this little tight brush. I think I'll go in with ginger, actually. Ginger's fairly light. I'm going to go in with that first on the under eye. Just a tiny bit. So a few months later, relatives of the gentleman, again, I'm sorry I don't know his name, but we don't know his name, reached out to the town's officials to try to determine his whereabouts because he never returned home. So apparently this is an official missing persons case to this day. But there is more to the story than what I've told you, so I will continue with that as I do the look. I kind of like where this is going. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop there with that. I'm gonna go in and just hit my eyebrows off. Then I'm gonna do my shimmer and a little bit of shimmer on the eyelids. So I have the NYX brow glue, and I'm just gonna tame down my brows because right now they're under my bangs and you can't really see them. But I don't want them to be too unruly. And then okay, I do have the Morphe very thin eyebrow pencil. I'll go in with that on some spots that are really sparse and just shape them up. This side too. Okay. Now I want to go in and get do some contour and get my blush on, and then I'll do the sparkle, and then we'll do some setting spray. This is my bronzer, the NYX Butter. I have my bronzer brush. It smells so good. I am going to work, guys, on getting some other tools that I can show you. I need to get a different camera for nighttime. You'll see in my Fort Mifflin video, I wasn't able to get any sort of nighttime investigation because I didn't have the right kind of camera. Basically, we need night vision. So that's drawing the face up, drawing the face that way for my face shape is what I like to do. I've also noticed that the past looks I've been doing, they were a little bit more, since they were supposed to sort of be spooky, they were a little bit more cartoonish, and my blush was very dark in each one. And what I've found is this really pretty True Match. It's from L'Oreal, and it's their super blendable blush. Man, I can't tell you the name. Something. I'll put it down below. But it's really light. It's really fresh. It's really pretty. I do have like sort of a little bit of a darker color on my brush already, but I just want to dust this across my cheeks, and I don't want them too dark because, again, I think it's been pulling my face down. So there's blush. I then want to go in with my sparkle, and I think I will do so this is the Cloud Spun. It has one of those mushy sparkles in the center. I don't know how to use them. I don't know how to use them. I'll have to figure it out. So I'm just going to go in with this lightest color here, and just using my finger, I'm going to go in and hit my brow bone. So I like that. But she does have a sparkle on her the dark part. Let's see what we have in the wine. Maybe this one. It is dark. Oh yeah, there we go. Nailed it. There we go. So that's going to be the color I want for this look. So setting spray. Everybody's been talking about this setting spray, the D'Alba. So this is the aromatic spray serum. I just want to hit off with this because I don't need that dry look for this. It's okay if it's dewy. This has a great dewy coverage to it. Hit it off with my fan. Okay, so next I would do, let's see, do my mascara, and I have my eyelash curler. I do have my eyelash curler heater. If you look at my Gettysburg video, that's in the description of that, but I don't have anywhere to plug it in, so I'm just gonna curl my eyelashes normally. So much like Gettysburg, Sharpsburg was just a sea of casualties across the whole town. And while the battle only raged for about a half a day on the 17th, throughout the 18th and the 19th, General Lee's men were still in this area, and they were said to have been in every nook and cranny of every home. So I'm imagining wounded, distraught, pain. Those are the emotions that were trapped all across this town, and I think it still translates here to this day. So my mascara is Tartelette. I got a little tiny one, and it's the waterproof black, but again, I'll link down below what it is. And you really, I think, want something really dark for this look. But I also have a plum mascara that I'm going to go in with. Is there I don't know if I want to call out, but is there someone here with me? If so, can you light this up? Are you a Confederate soldier? Can you make this light all the way up? It's been flickering like that all day. Again, I need to get better versed at these tools, guys, so that I can come to you with better investigating, basically. I've been doing this for a while, but I'm still a novice, if that makes sense. I'm not this hardcore out there every night techie type person. And I want to figure out what am I going to be? Am I going to be someone who does makeup and then goes on hunts? I know I talked about that in earlier videos. I do want to do that, but I have to figure out the best way to do it so that I'm not wasting everybody's time. So more to come on that. Here's my Maybelline Sky High. This is Lash Sensational, and this is a plum, so it's like a purple. Like a purple. I'm gonna throw some of that on. Just to give that little oomph of color. And then another trick, if you want to make your eyes pop, in addition to using Lumify eye drops, is to get a waterproof white eyeliner for your waterline, your bottom waterline. And this is called Fake Awake. So I'm going to put some of that on and give you a comparison. So that's one eye with it, one eye without. One hair, come on. There we go. So that makes your eyes bigger, makes them pop. And then the last thing I'm going to go in with is a lip color. And again, she's got kind of looks like a cranberry, but then a shimmer over top of it. I'm going to go in with this Revlon color because I want my whole look to be like a cranberry. And this is a matte. Again, I'll link down below what it is. And then I think I'm going to go in with a little bit of a shine. I'll link down below what this is, but I want a little bit of a shine on it, keeping with that sort of cranberry look. And that's it. That's the look. So our gentleman, where I left you, he basically went missing. All of the other men went to the pub, as I mentioned, and our gentleman went missing. And years later, neighbors from around the town started to report that they would see a man on this one corner in a black suit, black tie, white shirt, black hat, white hair, just waving to people on the corner. The storyteller, Mark Brew, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I will link him down below, who wrote the book, Civil War Ghosts of Sharpsburg, and who did our ghost tour tonight. He said that the townsfolk didn't know who he was, but that almost every town has that one guy who stands on the corner and waves. Just that friendly, quiet person. No one really goes up to them. But at one point, someone did go up to this gentleman and said, Who are you? Can I help you? And when he asked the gentleman, "Who are you?" he didn't really get an answer. But when he said, "Can I help you? What do you need something?" And the gentleman said, and I'm paraphrasing, I'd have to look at the book to make sure I'm saying the right thing, but basically the gentleman said, "All I need is one drop of fresh, cool water." So keep in mind, all the men had to walk from the train to the celebration. Most of the men went to the pub. Our gentleman did not, and he was a teetotaler. Was this the gentleman who went missing at the commemoration? Was this his spirit looking for that one drop of water he never got to? To this day, they have not found his body. They don't know his identity. But that is my story for the week. This is my cranberry look. I hope you liked the video. I hope you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos in the future. Stay haunted and stay beautiful.